Hello, very welcome everyone. We will be starting our webinar in 1 minute. So we have some guests joining right now. Let's give them another 30 seconds. Okay, I think we can go ahead. Again, very welcome everyone for today's webinar. Today we will be talking about your study journey in the US. And this event has been organized in collaboration together with Apply Board. So my name is Shaheen. I am working for Apply Board. And let me provide you some information about the agenda today. So I will be giving you a brief about what Apply Board does, as well as we have the director and the founder of Onedu here in the session, Ameri. He will be providing you the introduction about Onedu. So we will be providing information about the US as an education destination. And we have guests joining from the top schools of US, including University of Delaware, Western Michigan University, San Francisco State University, and City University of Seattle. At the end of the session, we will have a question and answer part. So regardless from any time, please just put your questions on the Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen. The next slide, please. So Apply Board has been founded in Canada, and our mission is actually empowering people around the world to access the best education that they desire. So we are passionate about what we are doing, as well as about making a difference. So at the heart of everything we do, we believe everyone should have access to the best education available. And we believe that education is a right, not a privilege. The next slide, please. And so far, we have assisted 400,000 students from all around the world in order to have their desired education. So our AI-supported platform is hosting more than 1,600 schools from 5 different destinations, which are basically US, UK, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. So far, we have secured more than $60 million scholarships for our students in collaboration with our partners. And including me, we are a group of more than 1,500 people from all around the world in order to achieve our ambitious targets. The next one, please. And now I'm just leaving the floor for Emre, who is the founder director of Onedu. Emre, the floor is yours.
Hello, Shane. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Apply Board and all of our schools for providing us this opportunity to help our students with this webinar. My name is Emre. I work as an academic director at Onedu. During this session, if you guys have any questions in Turkish, please feel free to ask. Me and Shaheen can translate it to our schools, and they can help to get you answers for specific questions, or you can ask general questions, which I can answer to. We, as a partner to Apply Board, will be working with them for a while, and we are really happy for them to providing a really good service to us and to our students. And also, I want to thank again for our schools coming for this webinar and answering our students' questions. So as I said, for the question and answer box, please feel free to ask any questions that you guys have. And if it's in Turkish, we'll just translate it to you. And after the webinar, we'll be sharing the presentation to you guys. And thank you for all coming. I will take the floor to Carrie, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Fuse, and I am a partner relations manager on the US team here at Apply Board. Since you're already at the stage, hopefully, of preparing your application materials to study in the United States, I expect you already know quite a bit about the US and US higher education, but I'll just go quickly over a few points about the United States as a destination. So starting here with some quick facts, geographically, the US is the world's third largest country by area and also the third largest in terms of population. As a result, the US is very diverse. Depending on where you are, the landscape and climate may be very different, from warmer temperatures in the south to beaches on the coast to bustling cities to the natural beauty of forests and mountains and some more rural or protected areas. I am based in Chicago, Illinois, and it has been snowing for the last 2 days here. Each of the 50 US states is also quite different from the next in terms of its major economic areas, political capitals, and tourist attractions. The federal capital of Washington, D.C. is a fairly compact city located between the states of Maryland and Virginia in the east. Later, I will introduce our university guests, but they represent 4 different regions of the United States: the University of Delaware in the northeast, Western Michigan University in the Midwest, San Francisco State University on the West Coast, and City University of Seattle in the Northwest. In addition to geographic and territorial diversity, the U.S. population is also very diverse. Of the approximately 330 million people in the U.S., over 50 million have immigrated. This means that approximately 1 in 7 U.S. residents is an immigrant. Additionally, about 1 in 8 residents was born in the U.S. and has at least one immigrant parent. So you can imagine this has a profound impact on individual identity, as well as broader social and cultural influences in the U.S. and on U.S. campuses. While English is the primary language, you'll find many other languages spoken throughout the U.S., including Spanish, Chinese, and over 300 more, including Turkish. And while Christianity is the most prevalent religion in the U.S., there are many mosques and other places of worship where you can have freedom to practice your religion. Each year, over 1 million students, international students, choose to study in the U.S. at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. So why do these students and why are you making this choice? What makes the U.S. such a great place to study? Again, this comes down to the number and diversity of options available. The U.S. is home to nearly 4,000 degree-granting colleges and universities, plus many of these are considered the best, with the U.S. claiming nearly 2/3 of the top 30 global universities, according to U.S. News and World Report rankings in 22-23. Colleges and universities in the U.S. also offer a broad range of subjects for students to explore, allowing you to choose from many different majors while also taking classes of interest or in a different specialization outside of your major. International students will also experience a vibrant campus life with opportunities to learn, live with, and connect with other students from across the U.S. and around the world. You form part of a global campus community of faculty, staff, and students that can provide personal and professional enrichment, including networking opportunities and access to practical training during your studies or after graduation. Receiving a degree from the United States offers you great career prospects across a variety of industries, including at multinational companies. Speaking of campuses, I'd now like to introduce our university partners who will be sharing information with you about the options available at their institutions and requirements for admission. So these are the 4 universities again who will be speaking with you today: University of Delaware, Western Michigan University, San Francisco State University, and City University of Seattle. So first up, I would like to introduce Crystal Santos, Director of Strategic Planning and Special Projects at the University of Delaware.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here and tell you more about the University of Delaware. So looking forward to getting started. Just so you all know that I'm involved overall in the admissions office and I do recruit as well. But the main point of contact will be Erin Bastine, and I'll make sure that you contact or have Erin's contact information at the conclusion of our presentation if you have other additional questions. So let's get started. All right, so University of Delaware. I am also an alum, graduated a long time ago. We won't talk about the year, but obviously had a wonderful experience. And the great thing about UD and what attracted me to it is the rich history that it has. In addition to that, the opportunities and the offerings as well, which we'll get into. But in talking about the history, so UD was founded in 1743, so quite a bit of time ago. And of course, come a long way when it comes to what's being offered to students, the academic excellence, and what has come out of it. As you can see here in this picture, one of our most prominent alum is our current president, Joe Biden, as well as his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. And yes, both the Biden family will come back to campus at times and certainly visit us. And we have a lot of great things as well. acknowledging this alum. In addition to that, do have 3 signers of the U.S. Declaration of Independence, which is quite exciting as well. On campus, if you were to come visit, you'll actually see the buildings and learn more about the different buildings where a lot of these historical figures have buildings and facilities on campus named after them as well. In addition to that, we have, of course, a number of Nobel Prize winners, a lot of great research happening here at the University of Delaware. And in addition to that, a lot of great things coming out of it also. And then the last thing I want to mention is just that we also have an alum who was very much involved in that touchscreen technology that you're probably using if you have a smartphone. So that's just one of our great opportunities that students have to get involved in larger projects and seeing over time how much of an impact that they have had as well. So that's a little bit of the history. Let's move on a little bit more to learn more about the location of where Delaware is. So Delaware is the first state of the United States, but it's also one of the smallest states as well. Small but mighty is what we like to call it. So Delaware is really in the center of a lot of major places and cities in the Northeast. So we are about 2 hours south of New York City, about 2 hours north of Washington, D.C., about 40 minutes south of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and about an hour and 15 minutes north of Baltimore, Maryland. So those major cities do provide a lot of great opportunities for our students to explore, getting away for a day and going with your friends to visit these different cities. There's also classroom experiences that bring you to the different cities as well. Philadelphia Airport, International Airport, that is the closest airport to campus. So if you're, of course, flying or once again, going home to visit, you are certainly welcome to easily have access to airports and transportation to get to the airport as well. We also have right on campus an Amtrak and SEPTA station, and both of those are local train stations or train lines. Amtrak actually takes you as many points as north and south, east and west into and around the country. And then SEPTA is more of a local commuter. So it does take you to usually Philadelphia and Baltimore if you'd like to get around that way also. Aside from that, of course, we have bus transportation that takes you around as well and out of our Wilmington, Delaware, which is only about 20 minutes north of campus. And of course, a lot of other local transportation options for you as well. So Delaware, like I said, is really close to a lot of the beaches. We're about an hour and a half from beaches, but actually in Delaware, we have all 4 seasons. Certainly you'll enjoy the snow at times, but you'll also enjoy the nice warm weather during the spring and the hot weather during the summer as well. So we can move on to the next slide here and talk a little bit more about Newark, Delaware. So Newark, Delaware is actually a quintessential classic college community and college town. Actually, the University of Delaware students make up about 18,000, and it's actually a majority of the students or the population within the city of Newark. So when we say classic university of town, even when you're looking at pictures of campus, but it gives you a good idea as to running right through the town is a lot of shops and restaurants that students enjoy. So smaller town overall, but certainly the students really make it the most exciting. And then certainly thinking about safety and coming to Delaware and to Newark, I will definitely say that I have felt safe as a staff member and as a resident, and also when I was a student here. So that's very important, and I'm sure comforting for you as well. Also, another part of the UD experience is certainly just being able to, once again, get away and have experiences right outside of campus. You can walk on Main Street where you'll see a lot of these shops and restaurants. And the great thing too is that we have no sales tax in Delaware. So what you're truly buying at the store is truly this ticket cost, is truly what you'll be paying. And that's one of the great things as well. So when it comes to shopping, even for technology, high ticket items, that's exactly what you'll be paying. We'll move on to the next slide. Also, when it comes to University of Delaware, we like to highlight some of our rankings. As you can see on this slide here, these are some of our most recent rankings. I will say on that right side there, we have moved up to number 38 in terms of top public schools. And this was as of this past fall. And then we moved up to number 2 in terms of our chemical engineering program as well. So I'm very excited for all of our programs and just really making sure that students have great experiences while they're here and opportunities for doing more inside and outside of the classroom as well. Move on to the next slide. Now, in terms of what University of Delaware offers, we offer over 150 majors. With that, there are many students who take up a minor or take up a couple of minors, and you are absolutely welcome to do that as a University of Delaware student. You can cross colleges if you'd like. So if you're a student in the biomedical engineering or chemical engineering program, but then you also have an interest in maybe learning another language or in some other area, you are absolutely welcome to add that onto your schedule. It's just a matter of working with your advisor to make sure that you are getting all the courses that you need and can still graduate in the 4 years. But here on the left, it does list out all the different colleges that we do have at the university. So all of our 150 majors fall into one of these colleges. One thing I want to highlight is on the right-hand side, there's a link to our major finder. So if you're not sure what you'd like to do, or maybe you're still exploring, use this major finder site, because the great thing about it is that it will certainly highlight for you the course sequence. So when you'll be taking certain courses in a particular major, as well as any details about opportunities once you do graduate within that program. Another thing to mention at the bottom of this list here is the Honors College. So if you're looking for more stimulation in the classroom environment, then you certainly want to take advantage of the Honors College. And any student in any of these majors can be or apply into the Honors College as well. It's a great opportunity for more stimulation, and they do provide resources and a lot of great networking and even stipends for students to take advantage of the research projects that they have and special study abroad experiences as well. Next slide. Also, in terms of academic success, so once you're here, once you're a student, you're in the classroom, what will that be like? So one of the things we would like to highlight is that, yes, you will have an average class size of about 35. You might find smaller numbers in those sciences with labs that you may have to take. Also, some of those 8 o'clock in the morning classes, you might find a smaller group. And the further along in your major, you might also find smaller classes as well. But do know, average class size is about 35. There is absolutely that hands-on learning, problem-based learning that you'll also have, and you'll actually be able to see how what you're learning actually applies in the real world. Another thing to highlight, of course, is just that majority, as you see, 95% of our classes are taught by full-time faculty. And then also student-to-faculty ratio, 12-1. So you can get that individualized attention, not just in office hours, but also if there's a graduate assistant or a TA, teacher's assistant helping out with that class as well. Also, the best 4-year graduation rate. So we are really excited about that and proud of our students on staying focused and completing and doing everything that they need to. When talking a little bit further about graduation rate, we are higher than the national average. So we are at 82%. So we're very proud of that. And also we want to make sure that students are really getting what they need in order to complete their courses and graduate as well. So, next slide. When it comes to financing your education at the University of Delaware, one of the things we want to highlight is that students are automatically considered for any merit scholarships at the time they apply. There is no separate application that you would have to apply for when it comes to scholarships. And the scholarships do go up to about $18,000 a year, and of course renewable as well. So that's a great thing, knowing that you're coming in with some merit scholarships to help fund your education, and then each year, as long as you maintain that GPA, you'll continue to get those scholarships as well. So when you apply, certainly make sure that you are applying on time and meeting all that you need for scholarship consideration. Now let's go a little bit more into the admissions requirements part. So we have an online application, of course, for you to apply. Certainly clicking that link will take you to our website with information about it. In terms of certain majors such as engineering and business and sciences as well, we certainly look for strong academic performance and background in those areas, right? So if you're interested in science and math type of majors, we look at those courses, especially on your transcript, right? In addition to that, even business, our Lerner College of Business and Economics, there is certainly a math component to that. So we are also looking at your math preparation, because you will have additional math courses even within the College of Business. Transcript with a 3.0 GPA or above is certainly what we look for in those particular areas. But in addition to that, and looking at your whole transcript and your academic performance, we also, of course, are going to look at English proficiency. So as you can see here, the TOEFL and IELTS scores that are also quite helpful to you. And then, of course, if you were to take the Duolingo English. And then we also have a conditional admission process that's also available. So there's more information to come with that. Certainly, you can ask me questions and I can provide you more information about that later, since I know we have limited time today. Last but not least, the last few things. I'm sorry if you can just go back to that last slide. I do want to mention that there's a letter of recommendation that must be submitted to us. In addition to that, we are test score optional, right? So if you've taken the SAT or ACT, you're welcome to submit that, but you do not have to. So those are optional areas for us. And then there's an application deadline as well. So that's a great thing. If you're thinking now that you want to apply, yes, absolutely, you're welcome to do so. And we will make sure that no matter when you apply, you do have a decision no more than about 2 weeks after you submit everything to make a complete application. Next slide. All right. So this is a video. However, due to time, I'm not going to play the video here, but this you can definitely find online. And it's a great way of actually looking from a student's perspective as they walk around campus to see what campus really looks like. So it is quite exciting video to take a look at, but you will also find this on our international admissions website. So you can get that perspective if you're a student on campus, what it would look like for you. Next slide. All right. And last but not least, here's our contact information. Do follow us on social media. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, international-admissions@udel.edu. Specifically, if you want to speak to Erin Bastine, she is your point of contact as well. She is actually traveling internationally, so I'm stepping in for her. But at any time that you are looking to maybe visit campus, maybe you're in the area, come stop by. Reach out to us. And if you're not able to come in person, feel free to visit our webpage, the virtual visit, so you can actually just take a virtual tour and see what University of Life is all about. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Next up, we have Western Michigan University. So I'd like to introduce Dr. M.K. Mohannan, who's the Director of International Enrollment at Western Michigan. All right, take it away, Dr. Mohannan.
Carrie?
Hi, yes.
I can step in for him. I'm not sure if he was pulled away or not, so I apologize.
Great. All right. So we have Kim from Western Michigan instead. Thanks so much,
Surprise. Kim. My name is Kim Cho. I'm from Western Michigan University. I'm an international admissions counselor, and I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to introduce Western Michigan University to you. Next slide. So we are located in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're about 2.5 hours from Chicago, about 2 hours from Detroit. We are a small Midwest city. What's nice about Kalamazoo is that we do offer an airport bus train service right in Kalamazoo. So it's very easy for students from abroad to come into Kalamazoo. And then we do offer pickup service so that, again, it's so overwhelming when you arrive that we are going to be right there to help you with your arrival and make sure that you get somewhere safe to sleep for the evening. Okay. So I'm going to jump right into the admissions criteria for the university. You can see that we do have a number of test scores that we accept: TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, PTE. So the scores that you're seeing now are scores that we are requiring for undergraduate students. And also we do offer a pathway program, which allows students to take some ESL courses while taking some academic courses. So again, the scores available are on the screen here, but they are also noted on our website, so you can view those on your own later. Students, again, same test score or tests that we accept. The scores are slightly higher, of course. And what's really nice about both undergraduate and graduate is that if students go into and successfully complete our ESL program, most departments at the graduate level especially will accept the successful completion of the ESL program, which means you do not have to give or take an English proficiency exam in addition to. So again, the benefit of that is you're learning and improving your English proficiency, the smaller classrooms, ESL Faculty is right there to help you along the way. So again, I think it allows a smoother transition when beginning your academic program. Okay, so I talked briefly about the advantages of being able to study in the ESL program. And again, you're already immersed into the culture and the people who speak English as the first language. So again, being involved in the intensive English program, you're in class 20 hours a week. You're also integrated with the campus community, so you're not alone, but that's going to allow you to get acclimated to the university campus, to Kalamazoo, and still have that English language support very close to. Okay, the Pathway program. This program is offered primarily for undergraduate students. We do have a few graduate programs that allow students to dual enroll, but for undergraduate students, we will allow them, as I said before, to take a couple ESL classes for the support while taking some general education courses as part of their program. And we do have success in students participating in the Pathway program, and again, doing very well with their academic courses because they have that ESL support together. And so again, I think that's very helpful for those students who just need a little bit more support with their English language proficiency versus those students who go directly into their academic program. Okay, so listed on the screen now are the colleges that we do offer here. Programs that we do offer fall into one of these 7. Arts and Sciences is our liberal arts. It's the largest one here on campus. Aviation, we offer 3 different programs there. But again, detailed information can be found on our website. Immigration Services is a big service that we do offer to international students. It's so confusing and it's so hard to keep track of the updates. And we tell our students you don't have to. As part of the campus community, we strongly encourage students to come to our office, to email our office if they have any questions related to their visa, their passport, even immigration benefits such as CPT, OPT. And again, walk-in advising is offered to the students as well. Okay. Other resources and support here on campus for any student, you can see that listed on the left side. And again, I tell students always to take advantage of the resources available on the campuses. Most of them, if not all, are free and they are for you. So there's a lot to learn and to take advantage of, but you have to take the first step, okay? Housing, students do have the ability to live on campus, which makes it convenient as far as if you're in the computer lab late and you're tired, you can just go right to your dorm instead of trying to find a bus or transportation to go off campus. Also, I think it allows students to get more familiar with the campus community and to network more with professors and other students as you're not in such a rush to catch the next bus home, or being able to acclimate more to the community, okay? What students need to keep in mind is very important is your health. And Western Michigan University has a rec center right here located on campus. With your ID card, you access the center free, and it has a lot of intramural sports opportunities, fitness opportunities, classes that you can take. It's a large facility available to students, faculty, and staff, because we want to make sure not only are you studying hard, but you're also maintaining your health, okay? So you can see here on the left side, we've indicated the number of countries represented. We've broken it down to graduate versus undergrad. So it's nice to have the diversity here on campus. It's nice to see the international students integrate with the American students to share their interests and pop knowledge, as well as socially, just getting to know one another. So we do offer different programmings to help students, international students, integrate with the campus as well as the Kalamazoo community. Okay. The top 3 programs, in my opinion, are there. It's the Parade of Flags that we offer during homecoming week. It allows international students to step on a college football stadium, which many of them have not, and they carry their flags of their nation, which I think offers them great pride. So this has been very popular for our international students, as well as offering the International Festival, which allows the students to share their culture, food, activities, traditional clothing with the community. And then the International Friendship Program allows students to go into American homes so they can see what it's like to be in an American home, even tasting traditional American. Okay, and then again, we have many student organizations on campus. So when students have the ability, we do encourage them to step out of their comfort zone, get involved in the extracurricular activities. And again, I think it's a good opportunity for them to meet other students here on campus. Okay. Listed here are the estimated costs for undergraduate students. One thing I did not present a slide for, and I apologize, is that we do have an undergraduate scholarship opportunity called the GEMS Scholarship. That information can be found on our website, but if selected, a student can get $5,000 per academic year for the 4 years that they're enrolled here at Western Michigan University. But again, I do encourage students to go to our website to learn more about that opportunity. Okay, graduate, here are the estimated costs for you, along with, again, the English proficiency scores that are okay. Application process is listed here. Again, you just go to that link, apply. That will also give you other links that are very important and helpful to you. And it's an online system, very easy to upload your documents. And again, we're always here if you have any questions. Okay. And then we just included this slide just as a wording from our president, who is President Edward Montgomery. Again, very welcoming to students and allowing students to understand that we treat students all equal, and we welcome students from all over the okay. This is Dr. Mohanan's contact information. As mentioned, he is the Director of International Enrollment, and then my contact information. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Kim. All right, next up, we have San Francisco State University. So I would like to introduce Izzy Allen, who's the lead outreach officer at San Francisco State University. So Izzy, you are up.
All right. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know before the pandemic, I used to visit Turkey, Istanbul. It was one of my favorite cities. Hoping to, at some point, maybe this year or next year, do a visit to Turkey again and maybe meet some of you guys. This first slide here is some of our students, our international students, and you can notice that there is a bridge in the background. That bridge is called the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's a very iconic in San Francisco. Many people identify the city of San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge. So you'll see that very prominently in some of our brochures on our website. And if you watch any movies or TV shows that take place in San Francisco, you may see the Golden Gate Bridge as well. Here again is the Golden Gate Bridge. Back up a little bit. With the city of San Francisco in the background, that's the downtown area with all the tall buildings. In the next slide, you'll see another bridge in the top right. That's the Bay Bridge. And the Bay Bridge connects the city of San Francisco with many of the other cities surrounding what we call the San Francisco Bay Area. Here's a little bit of geography. I know many of you might be already familiar with the United States, but San Francisco State University is located in the state of California on the West Coast, and we are part of a system of public universities called the California State University System. And within that system, there are 23 universities, and you can see San Francisco. I've circled that on the left side of the screen. This slide is a zoomed in map of the city of San Francisco and the Bay Area. And you can see I've circled 3 areas. The one on the top, that's the Golden Gate Bridge that you've seen in the first few slides that we had. And then to the right, that is our downtown area with all of the large buildings. You could see the Bay Bridge next to it. And then on the south, you could see where our university is located, just south of the Golden Gate Bridge on the southwest corner, right across the street from those lakes. If you could see that, those are lakes. And then we are also very close to the Pacific Ocean. This slide here, with all the colored lines, represents the high-speed subway or public transportation system that connects the city of San Francisco with all of the other major cities surrounding the area. So it's a really easy way as a student or a visitor to San Francisco to explore the greater San Francisco area on this train system. We call it BART, and that is an acronym for Bay Area Rapid Transit. So if you do visit San Francisco or the San Francisco Bay Area and you hear people talking about BART, they might be talking about our train system and not the cartoon character. Next slide. Here is a really cool picture of Ocean Beach, which is really close to our university. I mentioned earlier that we are very close to the Pacific Ocean. So if you like the beach and that kind of a vibe, California, of course, is well known for the kind of beach area. So San Francisco, we've got an excellent beach very close to our university that many of our students like to go and hang out at. And this slide here is a picture of our university campus. You can see at the very top, that is the Pacific Ocean and Ocean Beach that we saw in the previous photo. And then those are the lakes that you saw in the map photo. Those are Lake Merced. And then our campus is located just right across the street from Lake Merced. This is one of our newer buildings, the Mashouf Wellness Center. Our students have access to do fitness. It's an amazing facility with all of the latest in high-tech equipment for working out, getting your exercise, and staying healthy. You can see here we have in the Mashouf Wellness Center a 3-story rock climbing wall, an indoor swimming pool. There is a track that runs the whole circumference of the inside of the Wellness Center, and then, of course, all of the latest aerobic and exercise equipment. Our university does have an on-campus housing. Right now, we have space for about 5,000 students to live on campus. We do have a traditional dorm where students will live 2 students to a room, and there's a community bathroom or community bath area. This picture and this slide here is a resident halls, which is more of an apartment-like setting. And there are usually 2 students in an apartment, and there are usually, 2 bedrooms in an apartment and 2 students per bedroom. This is some information about our university. We do have over 100-year history as a public institution. I mentioned earlier that we are part of a system, and that is called the California State University. Many people refer to it as the CSU, and our university is one of the larger public universities within that system with about 25,000 students. We have just under 1,000 international students, and earlier this week, we had our new international student orientation where we welcomed about 150 new incoming international students in F1 and J1 visa status. We did have one student from Turkey, an undergraduate student who started his studies in computer science. So we were super, super excited about that. Our university has over 100 educational programs to choose from. So we are a full comprehensive university with most academic programs for students that are looking to study and earn a bachelor's or a master's degree. We do operate on a semester system. So we are currently accepting applications for our fall semester, but we just started our classes for our spring of 2023. Here are some of the popular programs that we have our international students usually apply to. It's not in any order, just the popularity of the number of applications that we receive. So not one program is any better than the other program, but we do have an excellent business program with 7 concentrations. We've got a great computer science program. And that program is one of our popular programs, especially for students looking at STEM. One of my recent student assistants who graduated during the pandemic is currently working and doing some work at Google. So really excited about that. We had quite a few students that graduated from computer science, engineering, and some of our business majors go on to do some what we call OPT after you finish your degree and do some work at Google and some of the other high-tech companies. Our engineering program is also very popular with concentrations in mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, and computer engineering. And then our cinema program is also getting a lot of popularity and is a very excellent program. Many people in the industry have ranked and commented on how well that program is put together and the students that graduate from that program. Another program that I see that is also getting a lot of applications from is international relations. San Francisco State University was one of the first universities to offer a bachelor's degree program in international relations. And at our university, it is one of our strong programs just because of the relationships that our professors and our students have with the consulate and the embassies in San Francisco. Next slide. This is our application cycle. I mentioned that we are currently accepting applications for our fall of 2023. Most of our undergraduate bachelor degree programs will be accepting applications with a deadline of May 1. And then our spring of 2024 application cycle will begin this summer on August 1st. And that deadline for that is September 30th. Next slide. Here's a little bit about the costs of tuition and fees at San Francisco State University. As you can see, our costs are very affordable. Our tuition and fees for undergraduate students is going to be about $17,000 US per year. And then for graduate students, just over 15,000. Next slide. Here's a little bit about admission requirements. Pretty straightforward. What we look for is an overall cumulative grade point average of a 2.5 or higher. We will require an English proficiency, which can be met with a TOEFL score of 61 or an IELTS score of 6.0. I mentioned earlier that we have a student who just started this spring from Turkey, and he came through our English language program. And we do have a language school at our university campus where you could take some classes and improve your English in preparation for academic studies. So that is also another way of entering the university. We do not require the SAT or the ACT, but like other universities, if you do take those tests, we will accept them. And if you do take the SAT and you score 550 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing section, we will also accept that and waive the TOEFL or IELTS requirement. Next slide. We also receive quite a few transfer applicants, and I don't know if there's any students here that are currently enrolled in a college or university, but if you apply to San Francisco State University, we would consider you a transfer applicant. And there's two types of transfer applicants. If you've taken a college or university credits less than 60, we would consider you a lower division transfer student, which means you need to also meet the high school requirements, admission requirements, including the lower division transfer requirements. The minimum college GPA overall is about a 2.0 GPA. Now, if you are taking classes here in the USA or plan to take college courses in the USA and transfer as an upper division student, which is usually about 2 years of college study, there are a different set of admission requirements, which includes some specific subject area requirements that we would ask you to do. We refer to those as the Golden Four. Our TOEFL, IELTS requirements are going to be very similar to high school graduates as well. Next slide. For those students that are looking at graduate studies at San Francisco State University, this slide kind of outlines what our general graduate admission criteria is for our graduate studies programs. Basically, we require that you complete the equivalent of a 4-year bachelor's degree with an overall cumulative grade point average of a 3.0 or B average or higher. There is the TOEFL, IELTS, or we also accept PTE, and our graduate admissions is now also accepting Duolingo, so that is also an option. Some of our graduate programs may require a GRE, and for our MBA, they would require a GMAT. So if you are a student who's interested in graduate programs at San Francisco State, certainly reach out and we could give you additional details on our graduate programs. Next slide. And finally, this is our future international student webpage. This is a great webpage to start. If you're looking at San Francisco State University and want to do some research, you can go to this webpage to start off with. We have information from some of our current international students who created some video messages about their experience at San Francisco State University. We have direct links to our undergraduate admissions office, our graduate admissions office. And if you're looking at our language school, there's also a direct link to their webpage from this website here. So I know that many university campuses easy to get lost in the websites. So we do recommend for San Francisco State, if you are interested in learning more, start off at this website, and it's a great resource and a great tool for you. And of course, if you do have any questions for me, we'll be checking out the Q&A and the chat following the presentations. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Izzy. So last but not least, we will have City University of Seattle. So I'd like to introduce our speaker, Christian Villaseñor, who's the Director of International Student Recruitment at City University of Seattle. So I'll hand the reins to you, Christian.
Sorry, I was muted. How about everyone? Hoş geldiniz. Thank you for having me here today. It's so great to be present after so many years, with a Turkish audience after so many years. And I have to echo my colleague Izzy. He is one of my favorite places to go. Istanbul is one of my favorite cities to be in. And so it's great to be able to speak with all of you today. Now, let me start about sharing with City University. This is our iconic image here, City University of Seattle. You can see the Space Needle, which we're just 2 blocks away. And you can also see just about 2 hours away, the Mount Rainier, where great location for mountain sports as well as skiing and hiking and things like that. Next slide, please. So City University was founded in 1973 as a private nonprofit university. It's accredited by different bodies, for example, the NWCU, the ABET, the CACREP. And we're also designated a National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education by the National Security Agency and the Department of Homeland Security here in the United States. We have over 60 different programs in different areas in business, management, leadership, technology, education, counseling, psychology, and etc. And in addition, we have campuses, study centers, and key partnerships in China, Canada, the Czech Republic, Mexico, the United States, of course, Slovakia, Vietnam, Germany, and India. And our mission is to change lives for good by offering high quality and relevant lifelong education to anyone with a desire to learn. Next slide, please. At City University, we are fortunate to have over 6,000 students studying with us worldwide, with over 200 of them being international students studying in North America. As you can see in this picture here, this is a picture of some of our graduating students with our faculty and staff in our atrium. Next slide. Now to share a bit about Seattle and the Pacific Northwest, we have a temperate Mediterranean climate with temperatures in different seasons, such as 12 to 18 degrees Celsius in autumn, 8 to 12 degrees Celsius in winter, 12 to 15 degrees Celsius in spring, and 18 to 25 degrees Celsius in summer. And in general, we have cool, wet winters and mildly warm, relatively dry summers. Not too different from Istanbul from my personal experience. City U itself is located, as I mentioned, about 2 blocks away from the famous Space Needle in downtown Seattle, and about 2 blocks away from our student accommodation, Cornish Commons, which is about a 10-minute walk through the Amazon campus. And we'll get to take a picture and take a look at that in a little bit. Safety, Seattle, in terms of safety, Seattle is as the 13th best place to live in the United States. And Washington itself is considered to be the best state to live in the United States, according to U.S. News World and Rankings as of 2021. We are also the headquarter of many important global national companies, such as Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks, Expedia, Nintendo of America, and more. And within 2 hours of Seattle, we have the cities of Portland, Oregon, just south of us, and also Vancouver, Canada, just north. We're also host to numerous premium locations nearby, such as Mount Rainier, as I mentioned, with its skiing opportunities, as well as beautiful beaches, lakes, and rivers with opportunities for fishing, crabbing, clam digging, camping, surfing, and more on our Kitsap and Olympic peninsulas. And across the Cascade Mountains, you will find small towns with that traditional American field, with vast fruit and apple orchards, with that very produce, I should mention, being exported throughout the world. Next slide, please. In terms of programs available to undergraduate applicants, we have our English language program, our undergraduate certificates in business and management, and also the foundations of systems development. I should mention that these certificates are not standalone certificates. They're pathway programs to our master's programs. If you don't have a bachelor's in any kind of business field trying to get into our MBA, or if you don't have a bachelor's in any kind of computer science field and you want to do our master's in computer science. If you want to do our master's without any background, you can do these certificates. They're less than 1 year, and after completing completing them, you'll be able and be ready to be taking our master's here at City University. We also do an associate's degree in business, a bachelor's of arts in management, a bachelor's of science in business administration, a bachelor's of science in applied computer science, and we also have summer in Seattle, which is a 3-session period where students can come to Seattle during the summer session and earn credit, typically for less money and also for less time having spent. Next slide, please. We also have the graduate certificate in business management, the master's of science in management, the master's of business administration, and the master's of science in computer science. We also have some English assisted degree programs, such as our MBA. And once again, for our graduate programs, we also have the summer in Seattle as well. Next slide, please. And then we also have some pending programs that will be broadcast soon in the next coming years. The Masters of Science in Global Supply Chain Management and the Masters of Science in Technology and Product Management, as well as the Masters of Science in Data Science. These are approved. We are just waiting to start marketing them. And we plan on doing this around the time of 2023, 2024. Next slide, please. Now let's go over some application requirements. I highly encourage you to take a look at the QR code right there on the bottom so you can have more details. I won't go into full details with you because obviously you will be doing some of the research on your own. So I encourage you to take a look at the website. We do have admissions during four times of the year. However, we advise that you apply well ahead of the deadlines in order to allow for visa appointments and any potential delays that may occur. We also encourage you, if you have any issues finding appointments at the consulates, of course, in Turkey, to try to look at, nearby countries, such as Bulgaria or Greece, and for their diplomatic missions as well. Next slide, please. Okay. And then just to note, conditional admission is available for many programs in the undergraduate and language assisted BA program. We have a policy of open enrollment, so no GRE, GMAT, SAT, or ACT is required. We do require English language proficiency. You can take a look at that QR code for more information. We do accept the most popular options such as TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, Cambridge. We will also waive English testing or English proficiency if you've attended any kind of school or international school where the language of instruction was in English. If you're able to provide us with a transcript or maybe a letter from that institution attesting to this, we will be able to waive English language proficiency for you. And also, please note that you will be under the personalized care and attention of our experienced advisors, many of whom were international students or studied abroad themselves, myself included. Next slide, please. And this is just some information about our estimated tuition. You can find more information again by scanning this QR code. You'll be able to find all these links, of course, on our website as well once you scan that QR code. But just to give you some background information, for our undergraduate programs, we require $57,338 for the I-20 bank statement. Tuition itself will be much lower than that. It'll be around $27,882, and that includes other fees and books. And we require these specific amounts that also include transportation, room and board, and personal expenses for the purpose of U.S. immigration. We need to be able to attest to the U.S. government that you'll be able to support yourselves. So we do need to see these items on your bank statements in order for us to be able to issue an I-22 that you can take in order to get a visa. And please note that some of these numbers may differ depending on the program as well. The advisor that you work with will be able to give you a more detailed amount on what is required. Now, for graduate, for tuition, fees, and books, that's just $18,252. And then combined with other expenses, the estimated total yearly expenses are about $47,708. Next slide. Now, we do have scholarships available to help offset those costs. We do have the Summer in Seattle Scholarship available for that Summer in Seattle program, the Semester Study Abroad scholarships, the Degree Merit scholarships, as well as forms of on-campus employment. For more information, you can take a look at the QR code there. I am going to speak a little bit more about scholarships as well in our next slide. Please go ahead. Regarding merit scholarships in this category are awarded to first-time CityU applicants who who have achieved an outstanding academic record within their last academic year. First, we have the Presidential Merit Scholarship, which is a $5,000 scholarship dispersed evenly throughout the first 3 quarters of enrollment in the academic program. Second, we have the Academic Achievement Scholarship, which is a $2,000 scholarship dispersed evenly throughout the first 3 quarters of enrollment in that academic program, just like the President Merit Scholarship. And finally, we have the Enactus Scholarship available to students participating in Enactus, which is International Social Entrepreneurship Project Presentation Competition for international students, for university students. But our international students are heavily involved. Next slide, please. Just some information. It looks like we don't have all of our bullet points for Cornish Commons, so I'll just go ahead and go forward with them anyway. So for Cornish Commons, it's our student housing, which is just as I mentioned, a 5 to 10 minute walk through the Amazon campus. It is fully furnished with a bed, with beds, dressers, desks, and so forth. It includes internet, and also the quarterly rates include a $200 meal plan credit as well. There are several community amenities such as laundry, cafeteria, common areas, in a fitness center with a beautiful view of the Space Needle and downtown Seattle. For information about the quarterly rates, you can take a look on that QR code. I should mention that for a single occupancy, that's going to be our more expensive. And this is, as I mentioned, a quarterly rate, not a monthly rate. It's going to be around $4,535 for a single occupancy. For a double occupancy where you're sharing your room, that's $3,570. Now, again, this is a quarterly rate that you are paying. In terms of if you were going to pay, let's say, your own apartment, you would be paying much more in Seattle. We are actually one of the highest, or the higher, or actually I should say the hotter real estate markets in the United States. So this is to be expected, but we work to make it more affordable for our students by charging according to for quarterly rates at a much lower cost. And then, next slide. So this is just some images of Cornish Commons here. This is the image of the common upper deck. And you can see there, just off in the corner on the right side, the Space Needle, as well as the vista downtown Seattle. You can see the Pacific Ocean from there. We're not really that far from the water, within walking distance, I should add. And you can see here, there's a pool table and sitting area. And in the next picture, you can just go to the next slide. You have the Cornish Commons viewing deck, which is a popular area for students to be able to, oh, sorry, can you go back just one? Sorry. We have the Cornish Commons viewing deck, which is a popular location for students to congregate. They have barbecues, parties outside. I think they have a nighttime party as well. I forget when it was, like a moonlight party, something like that occurred as well. Really fun activities that happen at Cornish Commons. Next slide. And then here we have the Seattle waterfront, where we have many local gourmet restaurants, including, I should add, more than a handful of Turkish restaurants that I typically visit whenever I miss Istanbul and Turkey myself. And also the Seattle Wheel, as well as the ferry terminals that can take you to local destinations such as nearby beaches and Canada, such as Victoria, Canada, Vancouver, Canada. You can also hitch a ride all the way up to Alaska, and you can even go as far down, I believe, to Oregon. And if you were interested in longer, like for example, if you had maybe a week, you could do maybe a cruise. We have cruise ship docks at Seattle, and we're a very popular destination for cruise tours. Next slide. And here are the Amazon Globes, which is just a 5-minute walk away from campus. And again, you would walk through these in order to get to Cornish Commons, our housing residence. It's an amazing walk to go through because you walk through like the Amazon community space where they have food trucks, like dog park, and they even have really interesting, I guess they really want people to have their potassium because they have like a free banana truck as well that they have at the Amazon campus. Interesting stuff. And then when it's really hot, when you have a heat wave, they often turn the Amazon Globes as like a community cooling space. If you want to hang out in between classes, you can go hang out on the Amazon campus. Next slide, please. And here are our students enjoying one of our many local major league sports. We have the Mariners baseball team, the Seattle Seahawks American football team. We have the Seattle Sounders football or American soccer team, and the Seattle Kraken hockey team, as well as many others. This is Lumen Field. We have 2 stadiums side by side, Lumen Field and T-Mobile Field. Lumen is where the Sounders, our soccer and American football team, play. The Mariners play at T-Mobile Field, and the Seattle Kraken can actually just play a couple blocks away from us at the Key Arena at the Space Needle. Actually, now the Key Arena, I should mention, has changed its name to Climate Pledge Arena. Next slide, please. And here is the Pike Place Market, one of the hubs of buying and selling of produce and seafood in the Pacific Northwest. You can find products as far as Alaska and as far south as Oregon and as far west as Montana, coming from just basically all over the Northwest region. If you've ever seen iconic images or videos of Seattle of the fish throwing, this is where that occurs. Also not far from the public Pike Place Market is the original Starbucks with all the original, can't miss it, has the original logo and decor. It hasn't changed throughout the years, and it's a very popular destination for our international students to go visit. There are also many restaurants in the Pike Place Market, also more Turkish restaurants as well as many others such as Brazilian steakhouses, Japanese izakayas, just a lot of selection going on in this region, in this area. In fact, we're probably one of the most best, probably the best placed university in the sense that we are in the middle of the city and in the middle of all the nerve center of the Pacific Northwest. And we can just skip to the final slide there because we will be having questions. If you have any questions, please, sorry, just one more slide. Thank you. If you have any questions for me, please reach out to us at intlinfo@cdu.edu. Myself and my team will be more than happy to assist you with any questions that you might have about studying at City University and any questions you might have about applying as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think we can move to the Q&A session. I see lots of questions on the Q&A button, actually, and I see there are some answers moving. So maybe we can go one by one, but before having a look on the questions, please just feel free to contact with Onadu in case of any further questions that they will be also contacting you regarding your application. So I see a question about the credential evaluation. There were multiple answers. Maybe we can get an answer from City University as well. So for master's degree applications, Fulya is asking if credential evaluation is a prerequisite. Yeah, here we go. I think Christian is also typing over there.
Yes, I'm answering now.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And yeah, we have a question about the conditional admissions. So for English exams, and I see the answers are also coming over here. So far, Western Michigan and San Francisco confirmed that they offer conditional admissions.
Shine, if you want, you can just start translating the Turkish questions so that those are the ones that are not answered yet.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one on the top is related with GRE. So does the applications require GRE? So for the graduate applications, and there's a question about CPT.
Yeah. I can just talk a little bit about the GRE. At San Francisco State University, for our graduate programs, during the pandemic, the GRE was waived for many of our graduate programs. However, we still do have a handful, especially our more popular graduate majors are requiring the GRE, which include our computer science and artificial intelligence program and our analytics. So those programs require a GRE. Our MBA prefers the GMAT, but they do accept the GRE as well.
Okay, anyone else would like to contribute?
Shine, if you want, I can answer that GRE question in Turkish in terms of all of the university because they already mentioned some of the details on the presentation.
Yes,
I'll just answer it in Turkish, so sorry for the beginning. Can you please also ask the question, the other Turkish one? Maybe they would like to answer that question as well.
Yes, the question is related with the CPT and if CPT is possible for their education, after their education.
Any of you guys answer, or should I just take it over?
Yeah, then maybe we can take it over in Turkish. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Amri. I think we have finished all the questions that we have, and also the school officials provided detailed answers. Thanks to them as well.
Hey, could I add to, there was a question about conditional admissions, and I just wanted to add, I did put some information on the Q&A and a link to our American Language Institute. I mentioned earlier during my presentation that we had our orientation this week, and one of our students is from Turkey, and he did go through our American Language Institute through the conditional admission pathway, began his studies there, completed his English language and improved for academic and then is now starting this spring semester. So that is definitely a pathway that students use at San Francisco State University. And if there's any students out there that are needing to improve their English to begin their studies at the university, many universities have excellent programs. And there's also other language programs not on university campuses that are excellent. So there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of pathways.
Okay, thanks for this input as well. So I think we are just closing the session. If you have any remarks or something that you would like to mention, please feel free, or we will just say goodbye to all the participants.
Can I say something really quick?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, again, thank you for the opportunity to bring us all together to share about our institutions to students from Turkey. I do want to really emphasize the importance of students doing their research on the institutions. We want students to consider the cost. We want the students to consider the location of the institution, and we want students to consider the program itself. I use the example of computer science. I think every university offers a computer science program, but the student really wants to dig deeper into the curriculum to make sure that the computer science program they're looking at truly offers the courses of interest that they're in, because once they get into the United States, of course, they do have the option to transfer. It's a little unsettling, I think, for them to get to an institution to find out maybe it's not the right fit for them. But again, reach out to the school itself to ask your questions, dive in deep into the program's website, into the international admissions website. And again, I think now that COVID has taught us all about virtual, there's a lot of virtual opportunities for students to take advantage of. And again, I just really want to emphasize the importance of that, because again, you're investing a lot of time and money in studying abroad. And we just want to make sure you get the bang for the buck. We want to make sure that you are successful and that you do take advantage of the OPT opportunity after graduation. So I think I speak for all of us here that we're here for you. We will answer any questions you have. And again, thank you for this time.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks to everyone who contributed for this amazing session. I think lots of students benefited from that. And Amber, do you have any closing remarks?
No, not at all. I just want to thank everyone that joined this event, and also all of our students that come and listen to the end. And hopefully, if students need any help, they can contact the schools. They all shared the information. They can contact us or Apply staff. We are here to help. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And before closing, there's just one question raised at the last minute. It is related with the Iranian students who are currently in Turkey now. Yes, this is possible. There are lots of Iranian student applications from Turkey to other countries, other destinations. So please feel free to contact with ONEDU. So they will be guiding you accordingly. So thanks, everyone, and have a great day.